Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. It is Monday, and we're going to do more Ace Attorney because that's what we do on Mondays. Last time we finished up doing an investigation and pouring, not caulk. What did we poured plaster? That's what it was. We poured plaster into the footprints and stuff in order to check things, and we took toe prints. We took toe prints from a sandal and a slipper, and it is very suspicious and very likely, I think, that it's probably his fiance trying to murder him, considering that she's a nurse and therefore she had access to his chart about him dying or being close to possibly dying, and still wants to be with him, I assume, for some monetary reason, perhaps. I'm sure all of it will come out in today's trial. Also, if I am ever so slightly distracted today, it is because yesterday's stream, I accidentally missed a page from my work while we were programming. I was too lost in thought, and my phone was on vibrate, and it was sitting on a pillow, and so I didn't hear the ring at all or anything, or the vibration rather. So, is what it is. But anyway, let's get going. I say that because the distracted thing is just that if my phone, which is in clear visible sight to me on top of something mildly precarious, so if it vibrates it will fall over and get my attention, I might just be glancing at it a lot to avoid that. Anyway,
this is it, the big day. Did you get any sleep?
Yeah, I went to bed at 1 a.m. or so.
Oh? What time did you wake up?
3 a.m. That's only 2 hours, Apollo.
But at least you have me. And the amazing Mr. Hat. Here's looking at you, kid.
Good luck today, Apollo. That voice. Oh, it is right. I guessed right. Yeah. Get any sleep? Mr. Wright, I was going on my mind with boredom, so I signed myself out earlier today. Somehow that place makes fake piano playing at the Indochine hostage joint seem almost fun.
Daddy, do you know who the prosecutor Gavin's witness is today?
Take a guess.
How about little Plum?
That Sherman tank of a mom? No. Guess again.
That's too bad. You know, speaking of moms, you need to find me a new mommy one of these days, Daddy.
Woo! Now that's a wingman right there. Trucy is the ideal secret weapon for Wright's dating game. It's barely morning and you're at it already, Trucy. Okay, see, this is why I don't buy their father-daughter relationship. So, Mr. Wright, do you know who the prosecution's witness is? Alita Tiala, Clyde's fiance.
She's going to be a witness?
But that seems odd. Why would she testify against her own fiance? You have to wonder what Gavin's up to. Something's going down today. That much is clear.
Well, not to worry. I got my panties back. If we can't find a killer, I'll pull one out of there.
Imagine magic portals pulling serial killers out of things. Court is now in session for the trial of Walkie-Talkie. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Prosecution is warmed up. It's a sold-out house. Oh, sorry. No, that's not his voice. He's supposed to be relatively German. Very well. To recap, while yesterday's witness seemed more guilty than any other party,
Guilty of panty snatching,
we did find out one thing for certain. There were 3 people in the park at the time of the murder.
The witness, the victim, and the defendant.
Correct, Herr Judge. And today I'd like to do something a little new age. I'd like to look at this horrible crime from the outside. The outside? The acquisition of the murder weapon. The preparation for the act. Our poor defendant told all, you see. To his betrothed.
His betrothed?
His fiancée, Herr Judge. His partner for life, with no chance for parole.
Very well. You may show the, lucky lady to the stand.
Your name and occupation, Fraulein. Alida Tiala. My occupation is future wife.
Ah, traditional values. I respect that. Too many brides these days can't even weave baskets blindfolded, underwater. Yet you're here today as a witness for the prosecution.
To be honest, I didn't want to testify at first. But I couldn't hide the truth.
Honesty. Another admirable trait.
Fraulein, is it true that on the day of the crime, the defendant Walkie-Talkie confessed his plan? His plans for murder? Yes.
The witness will please give her testimony to the court.
It was the day that the family health checkup result came in. When Walkie found out that Dr. Marcus had lied, he flew into a rage. How teach him, he said. He took one of the family's pistols, and you already know what happened that night. I just don't see how anyone but Walkie could have done it.
Oh, that's where you're wrong. So the pistol did belong to the Kaki family. Then...
Yes. With regards to this, an investigation is underway at the Kitaki mansion on charges of possession of illegal firearms.
And the bullet that took the victim's life, what was it?
Fired from the pistol the defendant procured. Yes, this has been proven. How can you prove something like that? Bullets carry marks from the barrel that fired them, called rifling marks. Rifling marks? Think of them as being a gun's fingerprint, left on every bullet it fires. And when did you first hear about Walkie's plan? It was the day of the murder. I should have stopped him. I just didn't think you'd actually do it.
Very well. The defense may begin the cross-examination.
Yeah. Let's pay attention here. Look at her eyebrows. And her eyes looking up to the left a bit. Hands to her chest. That was the day of the murder, correct? Yes. Everyone in the family received their checkup results that day. When Walkie looked at his face went so pale. But of course, he had just found out he had a bullet in his chest. So you were there at the time? Yes. Poor Walkie. Just an email. I swear. I wish LinkedIn wouldn't send you emails like every fucking hour. Yes, poor Walkie. That must have been quite frightening. Was it lodged in your heart? Written in red ink, mind. In a totally different handwriting. Did she write that? Can I? We can't do anything with that. So, this is the actual checkup report. Just metallic object in your heart, urgent exam needed. The checkup in June. And then Walkie's chart. Yeah. It's probably not really a bullet. That must have been quite frightening. He was furious. You have to report up into shreds. Alright, look at this. Look at her disposition right now. Totally different from before. way more confident. I wonder that's when she's lying. Incidentally, I had to request another copy to file as evidence. A bothersome chore, but once I performed without complaint. Walkie's at an age where he's hard to control when he loses his temper. This report up into shreds. Of course, that little bit of instability is so cute. Great, now he sounds like a psychopath. I'll teach him, he said. Took one of the family's pistols. So, is it easy to take a pistol off from the house? Not really, I think. There's a system in place to limit access. But Walkie's a special case, being the next in line. Perhaps his treatment was a bit too special, yeah? Well, maybe he is a bit spoiled. I hear he got amazing presents for his birthdays. Oh, last year was a switchblade made out of chewing gum and a chocolate gravestone. Sounds like he has a taste for sweets and danger.
The point here being that Walkie had access to a pistol.
What happened? Meaning the murder. I tried to stop him, I really did. But Walkie wouldn't listen. Our defendant was nothing if not determined, it seems.
The last thing you should do is blame yourself, miss.
I don't know about that. I just don't see anyone but Walkie could have done it. I could, you know, we got stuff. He's right here. Press for now. How can you say that for certain? How? Herr Forehead, you will refrain from badgering the Fraulein. It was the defendant, Walkie, was it, who took the pistol from his home. We know this for a fact now.
I suppose we do.
So how could anyone else have used this pistol to shoot the victim? They could not. Simple logic, yeah?
That does seem to be the case. Does the defense have anything to say regarding this point?
Could someone else have used that pistol? I mean, yes. It doesn't have his fingerprints on it. Based on your testimony, there was clearly another. One other person had access to that pistol. What's this?
Interesting. Let's ask the defense then. Tell the court who this other person with access was.
You, obviously. Well, of course, I mean you, Miss Tiala. Huh? Me? But what? You were quite clear when you told the court. You heard about the pistol from the defendant on the day of the murder. In other words, you knew what he was planning. Let me get this straight. You intend to tell us that this lady stole the pistol from her fiancé and killed a man in cold blood on his behalf? I've heard of people doing strange things for love, but this...
It does seem a bit unfathomable, to be sure. I'm all for romance, and for supporting your partner in life, to be sure. But I think I would hesitate at murder.
I hope you do more than hesitate. But what if a different connection could be proven? A connection between the witness and the victim. We might find that she had a personal motive beyond wanting to help her fiancé. That would put things in a slightly different light. What possible connection are you suggesting here? You know what I'm starting to think? I'm starting to think that the police never looked inside that safe. I have evidence showing a connection between the witness, Miss Tiala, and the victim. This, I suppose, right?
That looks like a medical chart.
Found inside the safe at the Maractus Clinic. I'd like to draw the court's attention to the names written on the chart.
What? Miss Tiala, whatever. Why is your name on this chart?
Well, care to explain the meaning of this, Miss Tiala? I'm not sure what you mean by meaning, Mr. Justice. Our warm little fiance just froze over. I was on staff at that clinic until half a year ago. It was boring, so I quit. That's all. Is there a problem with that? Look at her face, holy.
Miss Tiala, you testified that you had no connection to the victim.
And I don't. Now? I quit half a year ago, didn't I? So there's no connection. I'm sorry, when is this from? It just says 27. Age 19. Age 19. June 14th. But this isn't the safe. Oh, I wonder if we can see the riflings on this. Wow, it's all mushed. That was one tough safe. You know, it looks kind of yummy. Huh? Like ice cream. Mmm, caramel. You certainly have an active imagination, Trucy. Let me guess. You're the kind of guy who can't rest until he knows every last detail of his girlfriend's past. Am I right?
That's not true at all. Why I embrace the ones I love, past flaws and all.
There's no connection now. Doesn't fly in a court of law. Doesn't fly? She's one tough nut. She probably feels right at home with the Kitakis. You left your job at the Marcus Clinic, true. But you remain connected somehow.
Very well, Mr. Justice. Show us evidence that proves a witness is still connected to Marcus Clinic.
Okay. I mean, we've got these two bits. These sandals were found in the Maractus Clinic lobby. They're yours, aren't they? Well, who knows? I'm sure there are lots of people with those sandals. So sorry, Fraulein, but your act isn't working. Your moment of hesitation just now cost you. What's with you? I thought you were on my side. Perhaps you are unaware that toes leave toe prints? A simple analysis of these sandals will reveal all. Well, now we see your true colors. I was wrong to cooperate with you from the beginning. I just wanted you to help get Walkie back on the straight and narrow.
This court thinks you need to worry less about Walkie and more about yourself. It sounds as though we need to hear a bit more about your story.
Your sandals were found at the entrance to the clinic, which means you went there on the day of the murder. Well, there's little point in denying it.
Very well. The witness will tell us about this visit. Why did you go to the Marcus Clinic that day?
I did go to the clinic that day. My first time in half a year, since I quit in January. I went to warn him. After all, I knew Walkie had the pistol. The doctor always was a timid man, too timid to admit his own mistake. Why else would I have gone? I'm not hiding any dark secrets. Oh, I wanted to tell him to be careful, as an old friend.
By mistake, you mean the mistake we heard about from the defendant? The botched operation?
He was a timid, small man, but I never wished him harm. I just thought I should let him know, you know?
That does make sense.
Yes, but there's still one thing which does not.
What's that, Prosecutor Gavin?
The sandals left in the lobby, of course. We can assume she wore these sandals to the clinic, yeah? Then why did she not wear them home? If it were me, I would have worn them home.
I would have worn those sandals home too.
So, why were the sandals left behind? Point out the contradiction before me. There's probably a good explanation for this, right, Miss Tiala? Say, for instance, There happened to be a similar pair of sandals there, which you wore home by mistake. Actually, that's right. I'm impressed, Mr. Gavin. Oh, it is nothing. There is, after all, no other possible explanation, yeah? Forehead. Oh, what the? No fair. He's filling the holes in her testimony.
The defense may begin the cross-examination.
Oh, I bet you were going to press her, and she's going to add that to her statement, and they're going to show the slippers to screw her. Around what time did you go to the clinic? I don't remember exactly, but it was after 9:30, I think. And that was the first time you had contacted Dr. Maractus in half a year? Of course it was. He wasn't the kind of boss you made friends with.
So, why did you go to the clinic that day?
Did you want Dr. Maractus to run away? Well, after I failed to stop Walkie, I thought that was the only other way to avoid the problem. Couldn't you have called? Why go in person? I called several times that evening, but no one was in. The victim was busy driving home until 9 p.m. that night, remember? This was proven by this mirror yesterday, yeah? I thought if I warned him, he would run away for sure. Knowing the doctor. He's not timid, though. We know that. You mean that act of malpractice on Walkie, correct? If he had just told Walkie the truth in the beginning, none of this would have happened.
True. That operation was the start of this whole affair.
Oh, of course. If he'd told him, he might have been erased by the Kitakis much earlier.
A disturbing thought.
We know that the Maractus clinic had ties to the Kitaki family. He probably couldn't have gone to the police even if he wanted to. That's why I knew I had to warn him. No dark secrets, huh? What? Look at me however you want, Mr. Justice. You won't find a thing. She's hiding something. I know it. You must have some evidence that proves it, too. You're free to think whatever you like. I went to that clinic with only one thought in mind. But you just said you weren't your friend with bosses. What were you doing? But then you'd be betraying Walkie, wouldn't you? No, I did it for him, for us. She went to warn him so that her fiancé would not have to commit such a crime, yeah? I didn't want them to take my Walkie away. There's no way she went to that clinic just to warn him. Do you know why she went, Apollo? Trying to figure out what really happened in that clinic, and fast. Okay. Since she quit in January, huh? Too bad there's no date on this checkup record. Red stain. Slippers. Okay. I assume it's the slippers, but I don't know. I went to warn him after all, and you walk in a pistol. I'm not hiding any dark secret. Okay, so it's this one, I assume. Why else would I have gone? What about this bullet? No, it's not it. Your Honor, what do you think about the witness's statement?
I'm not sure I follow you.
Really contradicts the, I thought.
You don't sound very sure, Mr. Justice. Objection overruled.
Why else would I have gone? Not to get your panties back, that's for sure. Would she have gone for one of the checkup reports? Because, I mean, we did find this. With the bullet lodged near her heart. But why she wouldn't go there just to mess with that, right? She went there to kill him, I assume. Wait, 2 rounds are fired. 2 rounds are fired. So she went there with a gun to shoot him. She missed because she hit the safe. Maybe grazed him, which got a red stain on this after an altercation. Then he ran away. Then she chased him into the park, but used the slippers because she couldn't run in the sandals. So you can't really run very well in slippers, but I suppose they're better than these. That doesn't explain why he would have stolen the noodle stand, though. Maybe to give him cover fire? Or just cover from the pistol? No. Hold on. Okay, I don't think I'm approaching this from the right direction here. First time in half a year, I went to warn him. He had a pistol. Too timid to admit his own mistake. But he's not timid, though. We know that. His own mistake. I mean, he didn't make a mistake, though. As an urgent exam. Bullet lodged in your heart. Red stain. And the broken light bulb. Did I already present the shoe? I presented the bullet, right? And the gun. I haven't had the shoes, right? No. Okay. I'm a little bit confused. Why did he tell him to be careful as an old friend? I mean, she said she's not his friend, but still. But what about the shiv? Why else would I have gone about hiding any dark secrets? I mean... I guess I'll press again. I'll press on everything again. Around what time did you go? After 9:30. Okay. The whole like wanted to go away. Called several times. Always a timid man. I mean, he's busy making soup, so I don't know what you're talking about. Why else would I have gone? I mean, to break into the safe, obviously. No dark secrets, eh? I must have some evidence that proves it too. Yeah, but... Okay. Do you know why she went? Time to figure out what really happened at that clinic and fast. I mean... It's definitely this one. I can't just press her on it again, right? No. The clinical one's on in mind. It's gotta be something with this. Why else would I have gone? Oh, maybe our panties are stolen. A 10. Shiv, Noodles. Broken bulb. Why is the lamp broken? Can you tell me why the lamp is broken? No. No, she can't. Okay, so bullet, lamp, gun, none of those work. Oh. Oh, it's the obvious that... Okay. Did I not present that already on that? I guess I didn't. Okay. Okay. I mean, sure. Sure. Like, it makes sense. I'm just confused because, like, it's almost too obvious, I guess. Like, there's clearly different handwriting on this thing. I'm not hiding any dark secrets. Yeah, but this was in the safe, so why did you hide it? This chart was found inside a safe in the doctor's office. Yeah? Why would this one chart be in that safe? Miss Tiala, you know why it was, don't you?
Mind filling me in?
Dr. Maractus didn't have the leisure of making mistakes. That's why he wrote up a false report and kept the truth locked away. Bad hair, Doctor. And this is where you come in, Miss Tiala. The nurse who filed this chart was you, which means you knew about Walkie's failed operation.
Interesting.
You were in the same position as Dr. Maractus. Kinda makes it hard to claim no connection, doesn't it? You're bold for a novice, I'll give you that. Mr. Justice, you must know I was only a nurse. The doctor is responsible for the chart's contents.
This chart business seems to be quite important. Please, amend your testimony accordingly.
Too bad, little attorney. My bracelet's reacting again. What is it, Apollo? I felt my bracelet tighten just now. Your bracelet? Just like yesterday. Like you said. When a witness is unsure of something, their nervous habit gives them away. But I can't see anything, Apollo. Huh? What's my bracelet reacting to? Wait, maybe. Yeah, that has to be it. What has to be it? Your senses, Apollo. They must be sharper than mine. Huh? I can't see it, but you can sense it. I don't know about that, Trucy. I don't have some kind of special power or anything. Listen to me, Apollo. There's a weak point somewhere in Miss Tiala's testimony, but we don't know what her nervous habit is. Well, then what do we do? You have to perceive it yourself, Apollo, with your eyes and your senses. That's up to me and my bracelet. I don't know why, but the bracelet helps. Somehow touching it helps me focus. Let's give it a shot and bring down that testimony. Okay, so this is the amended thing, right? Why would I go to the clinic now for a half-year chart? Oh, the bracelet is active the entire time, huh? Okay. Puts her hands together. Puts her hand on her face. Puts her hands down. Okay. So let's do some perception here. I think I just saw it. Hear it again. Why would I go to the clinic now for a half-euro chart? Yeah? Okay, let's press the button this time. Oh, it's like an earthbound battle. Why go to the clinic for a half-euro chart now, you ask? But you know why you would go now, don't you? I don't know what you're talking about. It was quite clear, Miss Tiala. You have a nervous habit. The moment you said the word now, you used your right thumb to fiddle with your ring. What? She wasn't sure. I saw it. Now, that's the key word. The chart wasn't a part of your past. It was a clear and present threat. That's ridiculous. Why, if that were the case? I would have had 6 months to do something about it. Indeed. Eh? Which means something happened quite recently. Something to make that chart a problem for you now. I've got her on the ropes now. I can feel it. Time to strike the killing blow. With evidence. Which means we're in a safe. Miss Tiala, there's no use trying to hide it. The chart became a threat to you now because of this. Okay, well, let's figure that out. So she signed it. Wait, is there like a thing that indicates their marriage? Is they're getting married? Death Shiv. It's not the Noodles. Is it the Noodles actually? Because we found all the soup bowls and stuff, so maybe since he no longer is beating Eldoon as a doctor, he wants to beat him at Noodles, so he's going to stop being a doctor? Which means the chart would go to some other doctor, and they would find out. That's the only thing I can think of, actually. As silly as it is. This feels like a stretch, but... No? No. Okay, so the eyes of a hawk and the brain of a toad. I mean, can't lose this now. Come on, toad brain, one more try. Okay. Sorry, I know like I don't really need to reload because the game is fairly generous in general. We can always just save whenever, but I like having full health. It's fun that way. The chart became a threat to you now because of this. It's not the Shiv. Because of the checkup? And the urgent exam needed? No. From a checkup run in June. And we're not saying that it's a threat. Like, we're not saying that we have evidence that it's a threat because she went and did something, right? Like, a bullet thing, you know? It doesn't make any sense. The large in their heart. Ooh. Oh. Oh. Wait, is she's no, that wouldn't work. She's not the one who shot Walkie. Right? Because he got shot by some other dude, right? If they removed the bullet, then rifling? No, okay. Nope. Okay, never mind. That didn't feel right either, because the 2 bullets should be the one fired into the safe and the one fired into the victim, which I feel like is going to be the connection, or one of the connection points. Something happened recently. Because of what? Because no, this is after the crime, right? Like, it's not the connection to the slippers. The slippers and the sandals being connected are what ties her to the crime scene. That doesn't make the chart be dangerous to her now. Because the urgent exam is needed, and then maybe they'd want to see the checkup report from before? Is that it? A health checkup report belonging to the defendant. The Kitakis are trying to get out of the business. The health checkup this month was their first ever. What did you think when you heard about this? Huh? Nothing. Why should I think anything? Oh, I would think you'd be I think you were positively beside yourself because you were afraid. You knew what Walkie's chest X-ray would reveal. A full half year had passed since the operation. You thought you were home free when the chart came back to haunt you. Eep. Eep, she says. Eep. That's all, Your Honor.
What just happened? Did the witness just admit to lying?
I sensed it. There was a great aura emanating from her forehead. Very cool. So the lady was lying, it seems. That's correct. She said she had no connection to the Maractus clinic, but her connection was deep indeed. A bit too deep. If the Kitakis got a hold of this chart with her name, she'd be finished. Isn't that right, Miss Tiala? You guessed it. Are the Kitakis in the audience?
Order! Order!
I did it. I broke her testimony. Amazing, Apollo. I didn't see it at all. Daddy was right about you. Wait.
Miss Tiala?
It's true that chart was bad news for me. That's why I went to meet the doctor that day. But that's all. I told him about Walkie and went home. It appears this cross-examination is far from over. What? She hid the truth from us. This is clear, yet it is not clear that this truth has anything to do with the case at hand.
Very well. The witness will add this to her testimony. And we'll have a bit more cross-examination.
I was so close. You're still close. Keep on her, Apollo. Nothing happened at all. I warned him and left. Oh, we know that's not true. There's a broken light bulb, a bullet in the back of a safe. A lot went on there. How did Dr. Maractus respond to the warning? Oh, he was quite surprised. Panicky, even. Who wouldn't be scared to learn Kitaki was after them?
Incidentally, this court is not afraid of any mobsters. Why, we had a life-threatening situation just yesterday right here in this courtroom.
Yeah, real impressed, though, you stood up to the attack of the amazing Mr. Hat, sir. After which I carried you back to your chambers. Sounds like the judge had quite a fright. Nothing happened in Dr. Morris's office that day, huh? But what about the mess we found? Something definitely happened in that office, Apollo. I know. But we can't prove when it happened. Nor that Alita Tiala was in any way involved. Well, let's try putting some evidence up anyway. There's no way she went to that clinic just to warn him. Do you know why she went, Apollo? Time to figure out what really happened to that clinic. Fast. Okay, so none of these have changed, right? Okay, we answered that. Nothing happened at all. I warned him and left. Yeah, that face change is not, I'm not buying it. Nothing happened. I mean, there's a bullet in the back of the safe. We can't prove that it was put there that day. Is there anything that we can prove was that? I mean, like, this stain is fucking weird. Also, the bulb being broken here. I think it's the lamp. Oh, it's not the lamp. Not the lamp. I wish there was like a fast reload button. I warned him and left. Then why did he run off with a noodle stand? I mean, the bullet is also bizarre, so... But... You say nothing happened in the doctor's office. I disagree. Take a look at this. What's that? It looks like a squished up ball of clay. Kinda like you, actually. This bullet was found in the Maractus Clinic office. Something did happen in that office, Miss Tiala. Enough of this joking around. The police investigated that clinic. But this was stuck inside the doctor's safe. Inside the safe? I guess the police didn't check that far. But there is a problem. How can you say that bullet was fired on that day? Weren't you the one who explained rifling marks to us? The pistol was taken from the Kitaki mansion that day. If the marks on this bullet match the murder weapon, then that proves a firearm was discharged in that office on the day of the murder. Not bad, Herr Forehead.
Bailiff, have this bullet analyzed immediately.
30 minutes later, a report arrives. The rifling marks on both bullets are identical.
Well, it seems as though the bullet in the safe was fired from the murder weapon. Perhaps the defense would like to state their position.
The bullet in that safe proves one fact. A pistol was fired in that office on that day. And at the time of the firing, the safe was open. The safe, which contained the top secret chart.
Do you think someone was threatening Dr. Maractus in order to open the safe?
Only one person was in a position to do such a thing. Our witness, Alita Tiala.
Order. Order. Order! Mr. Justice, where are you going with this? Are you accusing the witness?
Alita Tiala knew about Waki Kitaki's botched operation. She got engaged in him without telling him about it. As long as that bullet remained in his chest, his days were numbered. What if she married him, and then the bullet finally reached its destination?
What?
That reminds me. Apparently the Kitokis have been asserting themselves in lawful business practices. They're making quite a deal of money. A fortune, if you will.
Nefarious. So she planned to marry him just to get her hand on this fortune.
What? Waki, why are you here? You keep talking trash about my Alita, and I'll sue you, lawyer man. Huh? Me? Yeah. You said you'd abuse my Alita. I think you mean accuse. Same difference. Well, you can't have her. She's mine. It was me. I shot that doctor. Me. He left me to die, so I left him to die too. There, in that park. Waki, just cool down a second, but you keep your hands off my Alita, or I'll...
Miss Tiala.
I'm sorry, I just... Oh, it's been so long since I've laughed so hard. Something funny? Walkie? Wake up and smell reality. A little baby? The signature on the chart. The engagement. I mean, come on. It's so obvious. Even for a brainless, spoiled brat such as yourself. Alita. Your honesty is like a breath of foul air, Fraulein. Hey, I wasn't getting out of this clean anyway. So, the family fortune is what you're really after. That's right. I wanted the money. Oh, wait. That's whack. I ain't trying to hear that. Should have done the wedding earlier. Oh, well. By the way, can I ask you a question? Who? Me? I believe you said you're going to abuse me? Accuse. Of what crime, might I ask? Huh? Oh, I'm a bad girl, sure. I got close to that brat because I wanted his money. But he was the one with the pistol. He could have fired into the safe after I already left the clinic. What? I would never do a thing like that. It was definitely that silly brat. Wait, but what are you talking about? Trucy? You had the most to lose if that chart was found. But I didn't have a pistol now, did I? Well, you could have taken walkies. You'd think he'd have mentioned that, no? All I've heard him say is it was me, I shot him. That's only because he's trying to protect you. Sorry to intrude in this lovely conversation. But the two of you are forgetting one critical point. But what point? Certainly the Fräulein wanted that chart. You assume she threatened the doctor into opening that safe, but then... wouldn't she have taken the chart? Oh. You see. That chart wouldn't have been left in that safe. He's right.
Miss Tiala,
Yes?
it is clear to this court that you are not a very good fiancé.
Oh, I'm flattered.
Perhaps it's time you told us the truth. Tell us about yourself, including your actions and whereabouts on that day.
Don't forget, we've proven that you were at the Rantis clinic on the day of the crime. I bet you she's gonna lie about not going to the park, and that's how we're gonna get her. Yes, I went to the clinic that day to speak to the doctor. I wanted that chart, but I failed to get it. So I went back to the clinic later. In any case, I didn't shoot him. You don't even have proof I stole that pistol, do you? And that brat was spotted in the park at the moment of the crime. Frankly, I don't think it matters if Dr. Marcus was shot in the temple or not. How do you know that? How do you know that he was shot in the temple? Have you read the autopsy report? Excuse me.
You went back later.
That chart was dangerous, you understand. I need to get rid of it. That's why I went that day. But you couldn't get the chart then, could you? And later that night, Dr. Marcus was shot. I heard about the shooting, waited a day, but then I had to go back. No easy feat with the cops all over the place. That was you? Apollo, that sound came from behind this door. Someone's in there. A break-in. They left through that window. So you were the burglar. That was you too? If only I had one more minute. Then I could have opened that safe and gotten the chart.
What? That's trespassing. And brazen at that.
Oh, is this a trial for trespassing now? Besides, can't blame a girl for wanting to protect herself. They are gangsters, you know.
In any case, Mr. Justice, your cross-examination.
Admitting the little crime to avoid the big one, huh? Why that day? That brat was uncontrollable. He was ready to kill. and that would bring in the police, and that chart would become evidence, and I'd be hung out to dry. But the police didn't check the safe, did they? Well, they thought the crime scene was the park. I'll make sure the responsible parties feel the heat. Such sloppiness won't be tolerated, yeah? I'm kind of thankful for that sloppiness myself, actually. Later? When I heard what happened, well, I was too scared to do anything that day. So I waited until the day after. The 16th, was it? Of course, you and that meddling kid had to get in my way.
But why did why did Dr. Miraculous keep that chart around? It was clearly dangerous for him. He could have burned it.
Because he's a coward. The chart was his insurance.
Insurance?
My signature on that chart, to be more specific. That made sure I couldn't betray him. But you could have stolen it. Could have? Is this some new definition of proof? Well, ask Walkie, he'll tell us. Might I remind you that this is a cross-examination. You might want to keep your basis theories to yourself. Okay. He's right, isn't he? Yeah, but what? You have nothing to say. This case is over. It was over the moment that brat was seen in the park. What's the point in dragging it out any further? Okay, see, this is the thing though. How do you know that? The doctor was shot in the right temple, yes? So it seems. Let's review the facts again, shall we? If the killer shot from this location, the bullet would have struck our victim square in the forehead. However, the entry wound was in the right temple.
Yes, we heard testimony on this yesterday. At the time of the shooting, the witness was standing here.
No, he wasn't. He was standing next to the trash can.
Just before the gun was fired, he shouted. The victim turned his head to look and was shot.
No, wrong. But that testimony was proven to be a lie. Okay, thank you. Our egregious panty snatcher, Mr. Stickler, did witness the crime, but he was standing to the north, next to the trash can where he tossed those panties. If Mr. Stickler shot it from this location, the bullet couldn't hit his right temple. Silly, silly attorney. What? Do you remember what you had for breakfast that morning? Do you remember, Trucy? I always have a glass of milk for breakfast. What matters is one thing. The doctor was shot in his right temple. If that's the case, there can be only one explanation. The panties guy was mistaken. But his location was proven. You can't write that off as him being mistaken. Then why don't you show us, Herr Forehead? Show you what? Must I explain everything? Very well, let's recap. If the witness, panties guy, was standing to the north, then there was the shooter standing. From what location did the killer shoot the victim?
But wait, if the witness was standing there, how would anyone shoot the victim in the right temple?
I merely laid out the facts for us. It is up to the one possessing the shiny forehead to show us. If you can, that is. Walkie-talkie was staying at the killer mark. Wesley Sticker at the witness mark. Of course, Pal Maractus was at the victim mark.
Let's hear what the defense has to say.
Somewhere else. As the facts stand now, we can't explain this crime. Was she inside the noodle stand? Without contradicting ourselves at some point. But I know why. The real killer shot from an entirely different location. What are you talking about? I don't see another place. Apparently Mr. Justice does. Oh, sorry, wrong place.
Let's hear it. Where in the park did the killer shoot the victim from?
It's time to raise the roof. And the stakes. Huh? Penalties are such frightening things, don't you think? But what if they were a bit more terrifying? Like so.
Double penalty.
Herr Forehead wishes to take us in a new direction. Then he must be ready for the challenges ahead. Challenge accepted. It's justice time. Terrible catchphrase. Are you sure, Apollo? The key is the witness, Mr. Stickler's testimony. We believe that and we know where he stood. And the victim turned when he shouted. There's only one place the killer could have been. The killer shot the victim from here. I mean, we know that the footprint was here, but that doesn't quite line up. So you would think it'd be right here, like shot through the back of it, and somehow it didn't pass through and kill Walkie. But yeah, no, this is where the killer shot from.
I hadn't thought of that.
None of us did, Your Honor. And this explains the wound in the right temple. How? I hadn't thought of that.
An amusing diversion, Mr. Justice. Penalty.
Yes, amusing. Like your career, Mr. Justice. I'm rubbing in. Wait. Okay, so I should ignore straight lines and just point to where the footprints are. Right? Or maybe I'm supposed to point to inside the noodle stand. Because they could have been inside the noodle stand. Yeah. Like there's prints here. But that would be because she stepped in or out of the noodle stand? Okay, hold on. I'm just gonna save here so we don't have to click through so much if I get it wrong again. I think we'll get it right though. Oh, we have to click through all this too. Man, they really went hard on that animation. Like his fingers all move and do stuff. Okay. There's only one place the victim could have been. Sorry, the killer could have been. The killer shot the victim from inside the noodle stand. But we all owe a debt of gratitude to Miss Alita Tiala. What do you mean? Thanks to you, we had a chance to review the crime. And this time we were prepared. We know that Wesley Stickler was telling the truth. We should have listened to him from the beginning. Wesley Stickler was standing next to the trash can when he saw the two men. He shouted, just as he told us in his testimony. And the victim turned to look in his direction. A shot was fired. The victim was hit in the right temple.
Oh no.
Oh yes. Which direction was his right temple facing at that time? Right towards the noodle stand. Yeah, why was he standing in the noodle stand in the first place, though?
Order! Order! So you're saying the killer was inside the noodle stand?
Let's think about this a little more, shall we? You say the killer was inside the noodle stand, which would mean the victim, Dr. Maractus, came to the park, wheeling his own murderer in the cart behind him. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I'd think you noticed that you were pulling someone along. There's something we should worry about before that. Why was he pulling the noodle stand in the first place? Let's deal with all problems one at a time, shall we? Someone was hiding in the stand. We have not come this far to talk about possibilities. Let's talk about proof, baby. Show us evidence that proves someone was in that stand. Can I prove that? You want evidence that someone was in that stand? I think I have it, right? Because they would have to leave it. And those slippers prove that she was there. I've got it right here.
Intriguing. Let's see what you've got. It was proof that someone was hiding in the noodle stand.
The Maractus Clinic, and they're covered with paint. These slippers were found in a trash can near the crime scene. And a single slipper print was found at the scene. Right next to the noodle stand. Oh, and Miss Tiala, your toe print was found in the left slipper. In other words, this is proof you were inside that noodle stand. Eep. Yet there was only one slipper mark found at the scene. Can this be called a footprint in good faith? Observe the diagram. A park pathway runs right next to the slipper mark. A slipper wouldn't leave a trace on a cobblestone path. Yet you still cannot say this is a footprint, yeah. Why not? You have an impression left by a single slipper. What if it was on the stand and simply fell to the ground? That's just dumb. One more thing. A noodle stand is typically cluttered with the tools of the noodle making trade. There's no room for a person to ride in there.
You have a point. Could someone have hidden in that stand?
Apollo, I think I might be onto something. I think I figured out one of our pieces of evidence. In order to make room in the stand, some things would have to be... Oh.
Well, Mr. Justice, you have proof that someone could have hidden in the stand?
I can prove one thing. Someone did scheme to clear space in that stand. I mean, do you want me to show the bowl? Like there were a ton of bowls and soups and things at the clinic. I assume it's that, but could it... Because all this stuff was removed from that. I guess I'll try the bowl. This is a noodle bowl from the Stolen Eldunes Noodles noodle stand.
Yes, and what about it?
We discovered a large quantity of these bowls yesterday in the lobby of the Maractus Clinic.
A large quantity of noodle bowls in the victim's clinic.
Mr. O'Doon was very clear about those bowls.
Well, I don't care who did it. Without that stand, I'm finished. All my noodle bowls were in there too.
Yet the bowls were removed. That night, there was space inside that noodle stand. Space created at the Maractus Clinic, no less. Right around the time that you were there, Miss Alita Tiala. Stop! I won't listen to any more of these wild fantasies. They're not fantasies. They're worse lies than that spoiled brat's pickup lines.
I would like to remind the witness of her current status. This court does not consider you entirely innocent.
Show me an innocent. I'll show you a fairy tale.
In any case, the defense has somehow made its point. The witness has both a motive and an opportunity to kill Dr. Maractus.
More fairy tales. This whole trial is a fairy tale.
Then please, pull us back down to reality, Miss Tiala. I am giving you one last chance to explain yourself.
This is it. Why was Dr. Maractus pulling that stand that night? And what was Alita Tiala doing inside it? Time to get to the bottom of this case. That night, I went to ask Dr. Marcus for the chart. I had no intention of ever letting that chart fall into the Kentucky family's hands. But Dr. Marcus didn't understand. For some reason, he thought the Kentuckys had sent me. So I gave up and went home. All I did was talk to him. Well, that's wrong. You knew about the botched operation, so you tried to get rid of the chart to save yourself. I won't make excuses. And I did warn the good doctor. I gave him a chance. I told him that Brad got his health checkup report, and that he was coming to settle the score.
I see. Very well, Mr. Justice. Begin your cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor. This is the last testimony. Either I perceive the truth or it's over. Are we actually going to perceive that? Oh yeah, apparently. Okay, let's get to pressing. So, you did go to steal that chart. Were you listening? I said I asked him for it.
The victim was a man in good health. I don't see how she could have coerced him.
True. It would have been impossible without a pistol. But what if she did have a pistol? I'll admit I wanted the chart. That much is true. My reason was simple. It certainly would have put a damper on your wedding plans, I'd say. Not only that, if the Kentuckys had gotten that chart, I'd probably be with Dr. Rector's now. Excuse me. I'd probably be with Dr. Marcus now, pulling that great noodle stand in the sky. It seems our witness was in a fix as well. Who'd want to die pulling a noodle stand? When I die, it'll be by disappearing mysteriously in the middle of a magic act. Could we be a little less morbid, please? So you see, I needed that chart. But Dr. Maractus didn't understand. He didn't understand? He wouldn't listen to a word I was saying. The moment he saw me, he started to tremble. I thought, what a sad excuse for a man. Please don't smile like that anymore. It's creepy. He was practically delusional. For some reason, he thought the Kentuckys had sent me. Is it because you had a gun? They sent you? He thought the Kentuckys had sent me to get the chart. It makes some sense. You are their son's fiancé. Don't make me laugh. The Kentuckys send me. They don't play that way. If they'd known about that chart, they would have gone in there with guns blazing. But I couldn't convince the trembling doctor otherwise. So I gave up and went home. All I did was talk to him. That's not true. If that was really all that happened, what were all those noodle bowls doing there? How should I know? There weren't any bowls when I went. I know that much. Why don't you let me be and go look for your killer someplace else, alright? Do I detect uncertainty there? This is my last chance. Apollo? Any word from your bracelet? Yeah, actually. I'll have to respond. I couldn't see a thing. It's up to you, Apollo. Okay. Alright, let's save now that I've pressed everything. Oh, wait. Just for funsies, we'll perceive a little bit here, I guess. I don't think this is the one, but just in case. Okay. If her nervous tick is just that, then we should only look at the ones where she has her hands together, but... all I did was talk to him. See, pretty sure that's not true either. Where's her other hand? I can't see her there. Wait. She was just fiddling with her scarf. And went home. All I did was talk to him. Yep. There it is. All I did was talk and lie. What? Show me proof. Pretty sure about this one. Think I'm getting the hang of it. A little slip in confidence and I give it all away. The proof is you, Miss Tiala. All I did was talk to him? You claim. Yet you can't hide your own nervous twitch when you say those words. My twitch? What are you talking about? You have a habit of scratching the area of your neck around the edge of your scarf. What? This is working better than I hoped. Her unconscious actions tell the truth she won't say. Habits and lies. 2 dots. Connect the dots and find the truth. Don't look at me like that. I told you the truth. It seems that when you recall what really happened in that office, you can't keep your hands off your neck, can you? So that nervous habit. Unconscious reactions that manifest when someone is trying to hide something. You can't hide behind your scarf, Miss Tiala. Something happened between you and the victim in that Maractus Clinic office. And I've got proof that shows exactly what happened. The lamp? What's that? You're touching your scarf again. There's something unusual with this lamp. The bulb is broken, and there's a red splotch on the cord. Seeing how you hide your neck, I think I can come up with a plausible explanation for the lamp's state. Well, spit it out. This talking in circles nonsense is killing me. Very well. The answer is very simple, Miss Alita Tiala. Please remove your scarf. Eep. Again, I'm not going to scream in an apartment complex. Sorry. This is a trial to determine what happened in that park, yet we seem to have drifted off target. We'll find out soon enough if we're drifting, as soon as the witness removes her scarf. I won't do it. This is insane. I'm an unrelated third party. You can't order me to remove the...
Miss Tiala, I'm afraid you've forgotten what's already been proven.
What?
You're highly unrelated. Please, remove your scarf.
No. No! I knew it. So I was right, wasn't I, Miss Alita Tiala? Oh. Your neck.
Sorry, your neck? That isn't what I think it is.
Wait, did Maractus try to kill her? Something did happen that night at the Maractus Clinic. You needed to get that chart back no matter what it took. Even if you had to steal your fiance's pistol to do it. Did she threaten him with the pistol and then he retaliate with the lamp? Choke her out, put her in the noodle stand, and then bring her to the park?
But wait, looking at this lamp in the witness's neck, it looks like the very opposite happened.
Exactly. The victim in the clinic that night was this witness. Specifically, you tried to threaten Dr. Maractus and he attacked you. That's what happened that night at the Maractus Clinic. Eep. Oh, lots of eeps.
Order! Will someone please tell me what really happened?
I told you the truth already. I went to the clinic that night to warn Dr. Maractus. That gangster knows everything. He's coming for you. I don't even know what this guy should unlock.
Looks like my clinic's seen its last patient.
We have to get rid of that chart. Quick, open your safe. Give it to me.
So you can save your own skin.
What?
I know what you're up to. You want in with the family. And if they see that chart, you're finished. Leaving me holding the short straw. But if I'm going down, I'll want some company. You!
And what happened next? He jumped at me and knocked me to the floor. Then he took that cord. Palmeractus was serious. Deadly serious. He really tried to strangle me. So you picked up the lamp and hit him with it, right? I must have blacked out. Oh, okay. Wait, so she blacked out, he put her in the noodle stand, and he put the gun in with her.
So, you were the victim.
And the red splotch on the cord was your lipstick. I didn't want to remember that night. That's why I didn't bring it up. I'm a little bit surprised that it's lipstick and not like blood from her neck. There, are you happy now? Yeah. I was out cold, almost killed. You claim I then snuck into that noodle stand? But how could I? Ugh. Looks like such a weird monkey when his face goes like that.
Well, one thing is clear. We now know what really happened at the Maractus Clinic. It would seem that our victim was not entirely without blame himself.
I'm sorry. I get so nervous just thinking about it. It's hard to breathe. I've told you everything. Can I go home now?
You bear some responsibility for events that day, true. Yet if you were also a victim, this court would owe you some sympathy. Well, Mr. Justice, I believe this clears up the remaining questions for Miss Tiala.
When did this happen? Suddenly everyone's sympathizing with her. I don't know what to think anymore, Apollo. I mean, is that it? No, it doesn't add up. Because the bullet was inside the safe. Which means that the safe had to be opened. And only Maractus would have opened it. So, did he open the safe and then attack her, and then she accidentally fired a bullet, and it went into the safe? Or what? Do we know everything we need to know about Miss Tiala?
Very well. This finishes the cross-examination of this.
Not so fast. This party's just getting started. Now we rock! What? Those spikes on your heads are softer than they look? Or do you not have the stomach to go all the way?
Prosecutor Gavin.
Palmeractus choked Alita Tiala. She fell unconscious. But what happened next? He's right. There is more we don't know. But she was choked hard enough to leave that mark. She would have been out for a while. Even still, what if it was her in that noodle stand? Alita Tiala, half dead. Dr. Maractus pulling that stand, and a bullet fired from inside the noodle stand. What if it's all true? I'd have already figured out what truly happened that night. Miss Alita Tiala, as you can see, we're not through with you just yet. You really want to blame me for this murder, don't you? You too, Prosecutor Gavin. Me? For all I only wish to know the truth. But let's go back over what we've learned up till now. On the day of the murder, Walkie saw his checkup report, from which he learned about the bullet still inside him. So, he took a pistol from the family stash, with the intent to give Dr. Maractus some of his own medicine. And Miss Tiala heard about this from Walkie, so she went to the Maractus clinic ahead of him, in order to get rid of the chart with their signature. But then, something happened. Sounds like you figured it all out. But remember, I was the victim. I was out cold. But what about Dr. Maractus? That does seem to be the problem. He had just strangled Alita Tiala. Perhaps he thought to death. What did he do after his crime? was just knocked out, not dead. From the state of his clinic and the scene in the park, I think it's clear what the good doctor did next. Well, Hellforhard, care to guess?
Well, Mr. Justice, what did Dr. Maractus do?
Maybe he did think he killed Tiala. Do I have evidence to show what he did next? Fuck, I did save. Did he put her slippers on her? No. Do I have evidence to show what he did next? Did Maractus fire this bullet? To make it look like there was a scuffle or something? Would that make any sense? He strangles Alita, shoots the gun to make it seem like... No, because he doesn't want anything to do with it that would connect to the chart. The light's broken, but I guess you could explain that as it being part of, like, during the attack and everything. The victim died pulling it. I mean... The fingerprints were wiped from the bullet. So the fingerprints had to be wiped after. I assume Walkie helped clean the pistol up. What did he do next? I mean, he pulled the noodle stand. As his next move, Dr. Maractus stole Guy O'Doon's noodle stand. What? Killing me disturbed him that much? So much he randomly stole a noodle stand? It wasn't so random. Remember the bowls in the clinic's foyer? Bowls that belonged inside that stand? I think it's pretty obviously, don't you? That stand was at the clinic. However, the question is, why did he remove the bowls? Maybe because the stand was heavy? Or he wanted to put something in the stand in their place.
Ah, wait, you don't mean...
I do. Dr. Maractus did replace those bowls with something. Your corpse, Miss Tiala. Good music. My corpse? Dr. Maractus panicked. He thought he killed you. His next move would be to dispose of the body. That's crazy talk. You're all crazy. Then let's think about it logically. The doctor had a place to dispose of you in mind. But on his way there, who should he run into but the defendant? Walkie-talkie. I question your logic.
What's this, Prosecutor Gavin?
The park is a dead end. Why would he head in that direction to begin with? That's right, he had no reason to go there. Oh, now I get it. It was a trick. That spoiled brat made him do it. He made the doctor steal the stand. Tell me, why would someone go to a dead end? Unless the park was his destination. What?
Apparently the defense has an idea. Tell us where Dr. Maractus was heading with the stand.
Been a while since we said.
Yeah, please show us on this diagram. To where exactly was the victim dragging that stand?
I mean, is this a... The park has... Well, he drove his car through this before and knocked the paint over everywhere. Did he want to try to make it look like she had died in a, like, accident or something? This is a tree. This is a bench. I mean, was he gonna bury her under a tree or something? Like, I don't... The park is his destination. I mean, was he gonna dump her in the road? There. That's... Oh, it is a river. Okay. See, I was thinking that he would be looking for, like, a pond or something to, like, do that with. But, okay, that map seriously needs some love. Like, you can see that says 5 yards of river there, and it's blue. But the map they were just showing us was a little bit gray.
There, that's a river.
Yes, Your Honor. I scarcely need to explain why. A perfect place to dispose of a body. He was going to throw me into that river? He didn't have any other options, Fraulein. I believe this clears up all the remaining questions. The victim pulling the stand and the defendant before him. And inside the stand, you, Miss Alita Tiala. And then, the denouement. No, it's denouement. See, I actually have ran into this word recently while watching Dark Stalia Dives play Master Detective Archives Raincode, because at the end of every chapter they have the detective denouement. So I think that's how it's said. Denouement. Wesley Sticker of panty snatching fame walks up. Seeing the two men, he shouts. In that instance, okay, you should really put a shiv in that man's hand. So, I shot him? You were the only one who could have stolen Walkie's pistol. It had to be you.
Well, Miss Tiala.
Nice work. You mean I'm right? I mean, you've done a fine job dreaming up a story. Get that spoiled brat off the hook. You're the one who's dreaming. Apollo's backed up everything he said with the facts. If you're so sure he's making it up, give us another reason. Why was Director Marcus pulling that stand through the park? Well, who knows? But there's one gaping hole in your logic. I think Mr. Gavin knows whereof I speak. Where of what? But he's just still trying to deny this.
Is this true, Prosecutor Gavin?
Must I always be the one to point out Herr Forehead's errors? Maybe there really is something. I believe the Fraulein speaks of Herr Doctor's car. His car? That's right. The Rantis Clinic has that big garage. In which sat
a green sports car, was it?
Why would he steal the stand in the first place? If he wanted to carry a body, he would have used his car. No, his car had panties in the exhaust. And so, we find our victim without probable cause to steal that stand, and our defense without a case. That's not true, because they said earlier that that when the things are stuffed in the muffler, the cars don't start. I have an idea. You know that green car? I bet it wouldn't run. It was broken. Ha, what an excellent counter-argument, Fraulein. Too bad you're quite wrong. Don't tell me you've forgotten what happened to your daddy. Daddy? That's right. That night, the car that hit Mr. Wright was that green sports car.
Oh, yes, I'd nearly forgotten about it.
Afterwards, he drove it back to that garage. It ran fine. That's right. So why didn't he use his beloved sports car, A glaring contradiction, to be sure. More glaring than your forehead. No! No, come on. I know the answer. Let me speak. Let me tell you about the panties.
Order. Order! Well, Mr. Justice, why didn't Dr. Maractus use his car to carry the body?
Is that a groan of surrender I hear? Some advice. Now's a good time to review all you know. Everything you've learned over the last 2 days. Everything I've learned?
Mr. Justice, this contradiction casts doubt on your entire case. This is truly your last chance. The defense will explain to us what happened that night.
The car didn't run. I have an idea. It's all coming together. That night, Dr. Maractus couldn't use his car. Now you're making even less sense than usual. Not according to my information, Miss Tiala. Put one and one together and the explanation is simple.
If it's so simple, perhaps you can show us some evidence. Show us proof why the car wouldn't run that night. Let's see now. Panties? Again?
All sorts of things come out of my panties. Trucy, I know you're a magician, that's great and all, but come on. Phrasing. Even the truth. Another crime was committed the night of the murder. The theft of these panties. The latest in a string of similar thefts, actually. But that night, the snatcher was caught in the act. A brave young girl chased the thief until he hid in the Maractus Clinic garage. What? The snatcher hid the panties there before running. Perhaps someone in this court remembers where he hid them?
Why, weren't they found in the car's exhaust pipe?
Exactly. By the way, I learned something yesterday. A very important piece of information. And I learned it from you, Prosecutor Gavin. So you were here investigating? And I was on my way home when my hog gave up the ghost. Your hog? My motorcycle won't start. Clogged exhaust pipe. Too bad. It looks like such a nice bike, too. Hard to believe they could break trust from that. Cars, motorbikes, they're all the same. Clog the exhaust and they won't run. My, how interesting. While Miss Tiala and the doctor were struggling, the panty snatcher snuck into Maractus' garage. From that time until the time we found these, that car wouldn't start. What? That's why Dr. Maractus had to use the noodle stand. It was the next closest thing he could think of. Well, Miss Tiala, this wraps your doubts up quite nicely, I think. So it does. Where am I? So dark. Can't see. Cramped. Oh, my throat's burning.
What's your problem?
You, Doc. I know what you did. Walkie? You lied to me. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna give you a taste of your own medicine, man.
Wait. Let me explain.
Fine, now I'll give you your last request.
Listen, you're being tricked, but not how you think. It's not just me.
No. He'll ruin everything. I had to stop him. Thesis, I want you to. Funny. This isn't the way it was supposed to turn out. Oh well, too bad.
There's still one mystery. How did you manage to disappear from that stand?
In the silence after the shot, I heard the witness running. I believe he heard as much from Wesley Stickler. He went to use a public phone to inform the police. Which is when I made my escape. Which is when you left that slipper print. Dr. Maractus didn't bother taking my slippers off. I threw them out after I stepped in that paint, though. That was your mistake. No, my biggest mistake was coming to you for help, Mr. Justice. Eh? I believed in you. You and your anything agency. If anyone would get Walkie declared guilty, it was you.
I believe we've reached a conclusion of sorts. Prosecutor Gavin, how is Miss Alita Tiala doing?
She's confessed to everything. We're prosecuting her arrest now. Prosecutor Gavin sure seems calm for someone who just lost. I think he already knew. He'd figured out she was the killer a while ago. Some advice. Now's a good time to review all you know. Everything you've learned over the last 2 days. You lost, but I didn't exactly win either. Something the matter, Herr Forehead?
Looks like it's time to announce a verdict. Court is adjourned.
You know what's interesting about this so far? Like, Gavin and Justice, or Apollo and Clavier, whichever names you would like to use for them. Like, they're different from Edgeworth and Wright, for sure. Like, one, Wright was not particularly good at what he did, I guess, to start off. And like in this case, or in this, like, the prosecution wasn't the first one to say they were ready when the court was, when the judge was saying, hey, like, are we all ready and everything like that at the very beginning of this trial. It was the defense who said the defense was ready. Like, he's much more confident and seemingly competent than Phoenix was at his age, I think, which is good. And while last time we played this, I noted that I don't really like the whole bracelet thing because it feels a little bit too similar to like the nonsense mysticism stuff from the original trilogy. And I much preferred the like wacky but still logical everything of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles that they had. At the very least, no one said that the bracelet is magic. Like, it's just when his senses are at a height and he's noticing things. For now, I'm going to say that he just happens to become more aware of his bracelet. So, who knows? Maybe at one point, like, he'll lose the bracelet and have to do it all on his own and realize it's his own ability, not some weird, wacky thing. Great job, Apollo. You did it. Well, I didn't talk about... we'll talk about Gavin in a minute. Yeah, we did somehow. Walkie's off the hook. Free to become the gangster he's always wanted to be. And he has you to thank. Hey, attorney man. You're gonna pay for what you did to my Alita, Holmes. Or to blame, I guess. You give my Alita back. Stupid pointy-head attorney with a dash with...
Enough, Walkie.
Mr. Kitaki.
It's high time you opened your eyes, Walkie.
What do you know, man? I think about time you open yours. Giving up the life, trying to become some kind of businessman.
Don't talk about what you don't understand, Walkie.
I'm afraid the guard is going to throw them both out. If not in jail, wouldn't that be a happy ending? Hey, maybe we can help them out. We know why Mr. Kitaki needs to make so much money. Maybe we should tell Walkie. Oh, Walkie, Apollo has something to tell you. Huh? I do? I put you on the spot. Huh? What's that? Show him the reason why, Apollo. Why is Mr. Kitaki trying to become a businessman? It's not the Shiv. I assume it's the Walkie checkup report. mean, it's to... I assume it's to pay for the money to fix... him? Right? I think so. Yeah, right? It's all for his son, right? Think about it, Walkie. Think about your condition. I talked with your mother, Little Plum, yesterday. It pays, but we need a lot of money right now. Clean money, that is. She doesn't mean. You aren't really, are you?
I searched the globe, and I found one. A doctor who can take that bullet out of you, Walkie. But it's an expensive procedure.
Man, but you got plenty of money already, don't you?
I won't use it. It was the gangster life that did this to you, Walkie. I want to help you, and I want to do it clean.
Those are his eyebrows?
Please understand, Walkie.
Dad. Man, I see how it is, old man. Always you looking out for Walkie? Listen good, old man. One day, I'm gonna take you out. Then we'll see who's the OG. You try to hide in your business suit, I'll find you. Stupid old geezer. My Walkie.
No, it's as it should be.
Mr. Kitaki. Been more without the puppy dog eyes.
I'm glad to have met you. I'm not so good with words. But I know a professional job when I see one. Thank you.
Who? Me? I don't think.
Someday, I'll bake you one of our latest. The Kitaki Lime Pie.
He's opening a pie shop?
So long.
And he was gone. Well, let's head back, Apollo. To the Right Anything Agency. Hey, since when do I work at your agency? Aww, make a good team. Don't just stand there, let's get going. Why not? She did help me out. And there's a few questions that still need answers. Like this power of mine that she showed me. My bracelet. If anything can help me figure it out, it's her. Though I can't say I care much for what her father has become. Oh, that's right. To go someplace first. Huh? Where? Why, to claim a reward from Mr. O'Doon. Ah. Salty Noodles. Right. He's got a stand back already? Oh, and after that, you can come see my show. With a special appearance by the amazing Mr. Hat. Oh, it's special, all right. He is anything but him. Good. Oh, I didn't see the name of the next case. Turnabout Serenade is the next episode, looks like. That'd be fun. I mean, I like the sound of that. If we're gonna do some music-y things, it'll be good. Cool. Alright. Well, that's it for tonight's stream. We did about the usual amount of time, actually, even though we were only going through the one bit. I did get a little bit stuck at a couple points here, but that's fine. The last thing that I was saying beforehand was just, like, Apollo is very different from Phoenix in that he's definitely more confident of his abilities, I think. And also, he's definitely more confident. I mean, like... Or, sorry, he's more competent. Where, like, Phoenix had to rely on Maya and on Mia in order to get his court cases resolved. Like typically, almost always, there was always something going on there where they had to he had to be nudged and reminded. And like Trucy is doing a little bit of that, right? But she's also just like saying nonsense half the time too. And it really does feel like he's actually like putting 2 and 2 together and figuring things out. While with Phoenix, it sometimes felt more like Phoenix was just kind of blindly stumbling onto the truth. So, not always. Phoenix definitely did get a lot of things, but especially at the very beginning, the greenness of Phoenix is very different from Apollo. And then Gavin, Clavier compared to Miles, or Gavin compared to Edgeworth, like, even though Clavier keeps like making fun of our forehead and like poking at us here and there, he really does seem like he cares about finding the truth, and he's like upfront about wanting to do that. Like, he's not really, I don't know if I'd call him confrontational. Like Edgeworth had a bone to pick with Phoenix, is what it felt like almost always. Like every prosecutor always seemed to want to just like take Phoenix down. While right now, like Clavier, like it feels more like they're working together to get to the truth than it feels like they're like trying to just boil the other person down and like break them. You know, like Edgeworth wouldn't bring out evidence until he needed it, because if he could win the case without having to do that, then he would, even if it didn't give him the whole truth, because that's how he learned from Von Karma and everything. But like Clavier seems to have the same objective as us, so it's weirdly enough, it's like them having a like cooperative time, I guess. So it's good though. I like it. It's a different dynamic, and I'm enjoying it, and it's fun. So we're gonna keep playing it, and eventually we'll find out what happened with Phoenix. So that's it for now. But I hope you all have a great rest of your day, rest of your night. Tomorrow is Tuesday, and while normally for the last few weeks that would mean that it is Co-op Tuesday, that is not the case for tomorrow, because my friend has some stuff he has to take care of. So we're gonna have to postpone the We Were Here Forever stream until next week, next Tuesday. But that just means that I'll play a different game tomorrow. So, or a different game than We Were Here Forever, I should say. We might do. We'll see. I did buy a couple games that were on sale, honestly, over the weekend. So we might play one of those to mix it up a little bit, or we might do some more Apollo Justice. We'll see what I'm in the mood for tomorrow. Either way, I hope you all have a great one. So, bye for now.